Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of TPS-TV. Yes, we've been off for a couple weeks now, but we're back to a regularly scheduled program. And yes, anyways, the movie I want to talk to you about, tongue-tied, took 2 weeks off, still tongue-tied. The movie I want to talk to you guys about this week, of course, it's the biggest horror release, of the month. And of course, I'm talking about It Chapter 2. And yeah, went ahead and watched that, so I'll give you my quick thoughts, spoiler free for the most part, so you don't have to worry about that. Of course, It Chapter 2 follows The Losers Club 27 years later as It comes back. And of course, now that it's back, they're having to kind of band together and try to take it down once again. All will kickstart this whole thing off by saying that I did like It Chapter 2. I thought, in fact, not just didn't like it, I thought it was really good. A huge improvement on the adult portion of the It miniseries from the 90s, which I think a lot of people will agree was shit. I mean, it really was. It's funny because, when you look back at it, it's like, wow, there's so many. It has a really good cast, but it's not like, I don't know. The second half of the It miniseries just really dipped. The kids really carried that movie. And it wasn't just them, just the story itself. And then, of course, with the anticlimactic battle at the end, it just kind of falls apart. And so it's always kind of the thing that everybody, and not just me, this is almost universally will say, is like, oh yeah, the It miniseries, masterpiece. It's a classic, except for the end. And that's usually the general thing. And so whenever I was going into this, I was really curious how they were going to, work around that. And I think they did a really good job. Without going into too much detail, I will just tell you what I really liked about it. For the most part, I thought every adult counterpart did great. With the standouts being Bill Hader, and what the fuck's the dude's name? He was Deputy So-and-so on Sinister, like James Ransone? Deputy So-and-so. He's Eddie in this movie. I thought those two guys did phenomenal. In fact, I thought they did better than James McAvoy, who I really thought would be the standout in this movie because he's the best of the, in my opinion, of the actors, my favorite actor of that group. And I really thought that, he would be the one to kind of steal the show. And no, it was Bill and James. I thought they did a really good job as Richie and Eddie, respectively. Jessica Chastain did really good in it. The guy who plays Ben, who I swear just looks like Chris Pratt and like Hemsworth, any of them, doesn't fucking matter. Like a hybrid of those two guys. Like take a Hemsworth DNA and then take Chris Pratt's DNA and throw it together, and you got the guy who plays Ben. And I don't know, I just wasn't huge. Like the character I loved the child Ben, but the adult, I don't know, he just didn't bring it. And I wasn't trying to compare him to like John Ritter, which I thought John Ritter did really good. Because that's the thing, when I watched this movie, I did my best not to compare it to the original as much. Or not let that be negative. Like, well, in the original, no, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to take this for what it was. And as it was, I just thought he was probably the weakest of the adults. I don't know who the guy who played Mike was, but I thought he did really good. In fact, I was glad to see that Mike got more screen time this time around. I thought that was my one complaint about It Chapter 1, or Part 1, or what you want to call it. Like, all the Losers Club are getting, good scares and good portions of story. And, like, Mike doesn't get a whole lot of anything. And I thought it was great that they kind of rectified that as far as, like, because in the original miniseries, he was the one that was very knowledgeable about the town's history and everything, even as a kid. And here, they didn't really show it in Chapter 1, but in Chapter 2, boom, he's the guy. Like, he's the one who's been researching it for 27 years or whatever. And so I really dug that. And then Stan, I guess I won't say too much about him, but I kind of felt like that was a throwaway character as far as Chapter 2 goes. Because anybody who's familiar with the miniseries knows that the adult Stan doesn't make it too long. However, they really did kind of give him a little bit more substance, or his character a little bit more substance as the adult version. So I thought that was kind of cool. Another thing I really liked about this was, even though they kind of touched on it in the miniseries, in the book, the murders are still happening with the children. And of course, they do show like the opening of the It miniseries when Mike finds the picture of Georgie. Clearly the little girl got killed. But here, they're showing the kids being taken out. And I love the fact that the kids are like, gruesome gruesome. We're not sparing it on this one, so I like that as well. So I thought that was a really cool little touch there. And I guess we just, without giving anything away, I thought they really did the ending great justice this time around. So the original miniseries was just kind of like, oh no, it turned to a really bad looking spider puppet, and they silver slingshot it, and then they stab it. You see the shadows on the wall, on the cave walls. Here, no, we still get somewhat of an ending like that, in a sense. But I think they did a really good job considering, everything. See, in the book, it takes place on a different kind of plane. Like, you got the physical world, what's going on, but then a lot of it's kind of, astrophysics or whatever, all on a, metaphysical level or whatever. And so that was kind of in the book, you had a lot of that going on. Like, is kind of a mental battle kind of thing. And I thought they kind of encapsulated both the physical and mental part of that in the finale really well, actually. So I really kind of dug the ending. It's all, like I said, there's little minor changes here and there. I won't say nothing, but I was okay with the changes, nonetheless. I really thought that, with, Henry Bowers, couldn't think of his name for a second. His whole, part in this, I really kind of dug. Really liked, his part, and it's a little bit different than it was in the miniseries, but it still works. I think, it made it different, but the same, it's kind of, it's a different take, but it goes for the same purpose, so it works out just fine. No, I thought that, the whole thing was really good. Cons, if I'm being completely honest, I thought, too much CGI, a lot of overuse. Now, when you're reading the book, there's like no way you could do any of that without CGI. I mean, I guess you could, camera trickery and small miniatures or something, I don't know. But I mean, it'd probably take a lot of money, so I get it. Like, I'm not going to be like, CGI, I'm a practical effect guy. It had that, but there's no way around that, really. And it's not super distracting, but at times, it feels like you're watching, like, and I don't mean the look, but just the feel. Like you're watching The Mummy or Van Helsing, how it's just like high adventure, woo, giant things are attacking you and they're trying to run away. It just felt like less of a horror film. And I meant that like kind of throughout too. Like, I feel like whenever you get the massive CGI that's coming after him, you kind of lose the intimate horror film that was the first one. But it goes, I guess, on a bigger scale. So I mean, I guess it's like horror, like in the sense of like King Kong or Godzilla, kind of, big monster movie. It kind of goes into that realm, I guess. As far, I guess, we had to like put it into I guess the vibe or subgenre vibe. But not like the look of it. I mean, I'm talking about just the feeling I was getting. Like I said, the horror definitely goes out of it. This time around. I'm not saying there ain't some creepy parts. There's definitely some creepy parts. And actually, that's the thing I was really kind of worried about too, because the miniseries, the first half, creepy as fucking hell. And then the second half isn't. And I always felt like the reason behind that was kids are much more lost. They can't go nowhere. Who can they turn to that's going to believe them? And especially in the world of, that Stephen King created here in the town of Derry, where like all the adults just refuse to believe anything. Like, child murders around and they're just like, you kids are crazy. We're going to ignore you anyways. And so you feel more isolated and, with the kids, you can feel their helplessness. Whereas the adults, it's like, you guys can get in the car and drive away, which most of them complain they're going to do and then, never actually do it. But, as an adult, it's just like, these kids got it way worse. And so I just felt like in the first one, it was, the second half, there was like almost zero scares at all. I mean, still some good moments, but just zero scares. And so in the second movie, I felt like they definitely upped up the, at least the creep factor on certain things. But overall, not nearly as scary as the first one. And then the ending, which I don't know, I'm kind of debating. I need to watch it again. So the group I was with, we went to go see it, and it's family and friends, and every one of them was bitching about the ending being too long, but they also all had to take a piss really bad. And I can definitely relate to that, because going way back in our time machine, when I go see Star Wars Episode 3, that has like the most ridiculous, drawn-out ending. And I had to piss really bad. Like, I had to pee like midway through the movie, and I was holding it in. It was hurting. But I was like, I ain't getting up during a movie, especially, this one. And so I've been there, and I remember after peeing just thinking like, God, could that movie not just wrap it up quicker? I didn't have to pee, so as I'm watching this movie, I'm thinking like, it's all right. I kind of felt like they definitely were milking it a little bit, I guess is the best way to say it. But I didn't feel it was that bad. But everybody in my party said the same thing. They're just like, the ending was too long. Just too much. Just wrap it up. And I'm like, I don't know if it's them actually feeling that way, or if they just had to pee so bad, they're just like, fuck it, just end it so I can go pee. So I'll be curious to see what they say later on if they watch it on DVD. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, they're bitching about how long it was now. Like, there's a director's cut coming out that's going to be even longer. And then there's going to be the It Ultimate Cut, where they splice both movies together and give you this huge 5-6 hour fucking movie. And I'm like, you think it's long now? Wait until then. Of course, at that point, you'll have the luxury of just going, pause, I'm going to go pee. And peeing. So yes, overall, I like it. I'm giving it the old thumbs up. Maybe the best horror movie of the year. Maybe. I'm in a minority here. I really like Annabelle Comes Home. I know not a whole lot of people did. I did. But I don't know. This may trump that one, actually. I really like this It Chapter 2. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm curious to see what you guys thought. If you guys watched it, drop your comments down below. It seems like when I'm on social media, it seems very divisive. Half people are just like, they loved it and it was great, and other people are just like, it's garbage and horrible. So, I'm hearing both sides of it, and I can kind of see what everybody's saying on either side. Because once again, when you're doing a remake, it's kind of hard, but I'm like, it's 2019, especially in my age group. Like, I grew up in the 90s, watched all these 70s and 80s classics as a child, so it is tougher, but they make so many remakes now, it's like, who cares at this point? Like, fuck it. Let's just enjoy a movie and see if something about you, you can gravitate toward it. And I mean, if right now you had the, gun to my head, point blank, which do I prefer? Chapters 1 and 2 of the theatrical movies or the miniseries of it from the 90s? I'm going the theatrical ones. I think they're way better than the original. I love the original. I will never turn my back on the original. But if I'm being honest, these two movies are so much better. Better effects, better acting, better budget, better look. Better ending, more scares. And I mean, I'll get some hate for this too, but I think Pennywise is a way better, I think Bill Skarsgård is a way better Pennywise. I love Tim Curry's Pennywise. No one will ever replace Tim Curry, but Bill Skarsgård is awesome. And if I had to pick, I would never replace Tim Curry. But I'm sorry if I'm putting up my legends of my horror, pantheon, and I'm putting up all my favorite characters, and it comes to putting the Pennywise up, I'm putting up Bill Skarsgård. Hate me if you want, but that's what's going to happen. So anyways, yes, I highly recommend this. If you like the first one, why would you not check out the second half? If you didn't like the first one, then stay the fuck home. Go watch J-Lo and some other girls do The Hustle next week, or Hustlers, or whatever the fuck it's called. You can watch that. That can be your movie. Anyways, It Chapter 2. It's awesome. Check it out. Alright, that's all I got, guys. I will catch you next week. I never know what I'm going to do. I literally like to play this fast and loose. I just kind of like on the weekend, what am I going to shoot tonight? And then I'll just figure it out. 9 times out of 10, I go see a movie, so I do a movie review. Sometimes I just like to run my mouth about something else. This is a movie review, so that's all I got, guys. Thank you for watching, and until next time.